Well, hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so now that we have actually made through all of the video ranking series, and we actually did it in a fairly good pace. We didn't miss a day aside from yesterday. Now it's time to look at updated tier list. And well, here it is. It's also obviously going to be linked in the video description below, but before we get to any of the other technical bits, once again, the mandatory disclaimers for the easily offended. This list is a mixture of my personal view of the game and current game relevance and trends. Please do not use this list as a point of argument, but more as a food for thought. If you disagree with this list, that is perfectly fine. You can let me know why and which champions and all that other good stuff, but do it in a courteous manner. Each summoner has different needs and preferences that far outweigh the importance of this list. We all like our preferred mastery setups. We all rate champions based on our own experiences and also based on what content we need to tackle. For some of you, ranking up Vision Arcus to deal with some nasty robots in a quest where you might be stuck is going to be way more important than ranking up, I don't know, King Groot or Null or Venom, even though I personally rate them a lot higher, for example. That's just the way it is. If you're dealing with villain variant, then you're going to be looking at villain champions, and those are the ones that you need to invest in, so on and so forth. Please rank champions that will help you clear the content that you're trying to clear. Do not blindly follow these type of lists, which is also the main reason why there are no marks for needs high sig, needs to be awakened, needs synergies, needs that masteries, needs these masteries. A lot of people ask me on my streams or in comment section why I don't add those things, and that is with a very simple purpose. If I do not add any more information, you are forced to look up videos of, reviews and other things. If I added all that information that, okay, so I run Suicide Masteries and this champion likes to have those masteries active and it's high on a tier list, I'm going to rank him up, so on and so forth. I don't add those things on purpose, not because I'm lazy, but to force whoever was going to use this list as a blanket guide, whoever to rank, do more of your own research. If you want to rank up Odin just because it's frequently useful on this list and you like Odin, well then, you're going to have to look up at actual Odin guides, for instance. Right. Also, only champions that are available as 6 stars are at the top half of this list. I have a special list downstairs, which is getting quite lonely. There's only 5 champions here that are at the moment, I believe, unavailable as 6 stars in the game. 6. So we have Quake, Magic, Blade, Wolverine, Scarlet Witch, and Ultron Classic, and that is it. The default tab that you kind of should look at should be here. This is the default tab. Anything that's useful will already be some people's favorite and, are already champions that arguably are worth ranking up if you enjoy those champions, you like those champions. And even if a champion is ranked in occasionally useful tier, it does not mean that, I personally dislike those champions and nobody should ever rank or invest in them. Absolutely not. For instance, Carnage is one of my favorite champions to use when I'm not running Recoil. And, I have ranked him up. I also have Terax as a rank 5 star, very recent rank up. And I just enjoy using him. That's about it. I think he's very, very fun and cool. And similar, MCOC is somebody I took to rank 2. Ebony Maw is somebody I took to rank 2. There are reasons why champions in this part of the list can be ranked. Very valid reasons. And they still can answer very particular set of problems. It's just kind of like in majority of the cases, there are alternatives. There are better alternatives that work in more often, for instance. But remember that this is the game. Rank whoever you want to rank. And even if a champion is ranked in the occasionally useful tier, it's still fine. If you like a champion, you're going to make it work. You guys all have seen videos of plenty other content creators forcing, unpopular champions to do cool things like Rogue, or I believe we have Jellycan with a Sabertooth rank 4 now, doing some awesome things and stuff like that. So if you like the champion, you know, just go for it. And obviously the useless, borderline unplayable champions, it's just the champions where in vast majority of the cases there is not much to be gained from investing. Vast majority of these champions in this bit are outdated with, you know, 5 lines of ability text like Superior Iron Man or whoever. And whilst they still can obviously do arenas and some other things, but you know, you're probably better off staying away from champions in this list. So anything that's unuseful, and useful is kind of like a default position where majority of the newer champions kind of fall in. For instance, that's where Icarus is. I'm sure that Icarus is going to shift to left or right as we learn more about him, but I do think he's quite cool. And that is kind of like the champions that are already good, the champions that might not be everybody's cup of tea, but can definitely offer you plenty. Like Luke Cage, I think, is extremely underrated champion. Spider-Gwen, we have Massacre here, Night Thrasher, Elsa Bloodstone, Jabari Panther, Karnak. Again, Karnak's champion that I personally have ranked up. I enjoy him, similar to Elsa Bloodstone and Massacre and Night Thrasher. All of those are champions that are, just like the name suggests, useful. I don't use them all day, every day, but Massacre was awesome in the Deadpool variant. And so was Karnak as well. Why not? He was quite all right around there. And obviously Mysterio can have his times to shine, and Visions have been increasingly more visible. Now, frequently useful are the champions that are great. A lot of people absolutely love these champions. They are not necessarily quite in the top tier meta. And that is another important distinction that people need to make. That meta is as much as seal of quality and approval, as much it is a seal of popularity. That is how metas are made. Meta represents basically the most used champions at the highest levels of the game. That is what is meta in every literal game. It's not necessarily saying that any champion that does not fit in these two meta tiers is, you know, any worse than they are. It's just the fact that people choose to use these because they find it either easier or more beneficial or more enjoyable. These two tabs represent the very, very best this game has to offer. And this third one is like very close. Like there is literally not all that much difference to the way I view Odin or Angela, to the way I view, for instance, King Groot or Venom or Venompole. It's just a matter of fact that these champions are the ones that manage to squeeze on our teams more frequently and are more frequently used in Alliance Quest, Alliance War questing scenarios. More content creators use these champions than they do the ones that are frequently useful. But if a champion is frequently useful, then you can be already relatively safe investing in them. And, you know, there's going to be quite a high amount of return, in my opinion. Like Nimrod, Penny Parker, Nebula, Silver Centurion, Punisher 2099, Howard the Duck. Every single one of those champions have a lot to offer. They'll be able to tackle many different obstacles, and they will be able to clear content for you. And that goes for every single class rankings here, whether it's Symbiote Supreme, Hood, Mojo, Dragonman, Medusa, Angela, Odin, CMM. And then we have Spider-Ham, Red Hulk, Joe Fixit, the Overseer, Sting, and She-Hulk. Every single one of those champions are already really, really great. And then obviously meta is just exactly what we already went over. And top of the game is effectively the champions that I put in my top 15 champion ranking list, and some of the champions that narrowly kind of like missed it out. Like in top of the game, for instance, we already have Black Widow Clairvoyant that was nearly in there. We have Cosmic Ghost Rider, we have Professor X, and we have Aegon that are all nearly in there. Standard disclaimer, I will always try to make sure the top of the game list is updated. And I kind of like to draw the line of about 20 champions. I don't want this to go for much more than 20 champions at any given time, because that's how these games are. We do have our 20, 15, 25 most popular champions, and then over time some champions just kind of slide off and slide backwards because either they are not as relevant anymore or content doesn't let them shine. There's like very good examples here would be, for instance, Captain Marvel movie. When Captain Marvel movie came out, then, you know, pretty much everybody would put her in top of the game, but over time her usage has been sliding down. Similar to Omega Red, you know, not so long ago, Omega Red definitely would have made it in top of the game list. Or we can look at Symbiote Supreme. Symbiote Supreme used to be considered as the best Mystic champion alongside Magic, but as, you know, Doctor Doom and Diablo got buffed, and we have Sorcerer Supreme and Clairvoyant, Symbiote Supreme is just not as popular. So in this list, I will always be trying to reflect also the fact that just because a champion has reached the very highest end of the game does not mean that he's going to stay there forever. And I quite actively move champions from left to right and adjust these tiers. Speaking of which, I will be trying to adjust these lists on more timely manner. I'll be doing my best to kind of try and upload one every kind of like, you know, every month or every other month, because I have been seeing more and more people ask for the tier list to be updated, or when the tier list is going to be updated, and I will try to keep on top of it much more. So given the fact that I will be trying to make this tier list much more dynamic, I also want you guys to give as much input as possible. Now again, I fully understand that not everybody is going to be you know, matching my opinions of these champions, and that's perfectly fine so long as you disagree in a civil manner. I also fully expect this to be the biggest problem issue, the frequently useful tier, where pretty much every champion in this, I'm sure somebody is going to argue that should be tier higher. In fact, that is how these tier lists always go. Whenever somebody makes a tier list, people who like the champion always insist on their specific favorites to be pushed higher and higher up. But that is kind of the point of, at the very least, my tier list in particular. I disagree with that. If everybody is amazing and insane and, you know, the best of the best, then nobody is. Then everybody is mediocre. And we can't get carried away with pushing our favorite champions, or the champions that we enjoy the most, or the champions that we recently have kind of fallen in love, to the very top of these tier lists, because that would just, you know, in my opinion, make them less accurate and make them oversaturated. But either way, as I have stated, I will leave a link to this list in the video description below, and let me know what you guys think. Right now, I'm still unsure of Null, for instance, because I have had very little experience, and with Icarus, because those are some of the latest champions added. Also, there should be Craven somewhere here, which I have put in occasionally useful right now, because I genuinely know very, very little from him. It's obviously extremely likely that he's going to move somewhere up, but I have hardly seen any Craven gameplay, to be honest, since he has been released, which is quite surprising given that he was the only champion this month. But here we are. So the list is here. You can take a look at it at your own time. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, we're going to keep updating it, and we're going to keep changing it. And I will try to make these tier list rehash videos more often than I have. So here we are. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I shall see you guys soon. Later. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about